Start the recording. All right, we're recording. We're set up to go live. We're broadcasting. Sweet. All right, I think all the buttons have been pushed. I'm going to change my name here. So where are you? Are you in Florida?
Actually, Northern Virginia in Alexandria.
Okay. Oh, it's a beautiful area.
We're loving it. We love it. Flooding last night because of all the rains that we've had, but yeah, it's great. It's great.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions?
No, sir. You've made it easy. You've made it easy.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing your talk.
Yeah, and honestly, if you guys do need to talk, I am happy to hang out and chat. So I'm happy to be interviewed if anybody has any questions and you want to fill some time. I'm here. If not, I understand that as well. So I can be very flexible.
I think one of the things is we thought this was conscious. You know, we're not inviting people to the Zoom webinar. We're really pushing it out to Facebook and really going the social media route. Yeah. So if there was another person here, like if Jim were here, he could be watching the Facebook comments and stuff. But right now there's really not a good way for people to ask some questions. But you and I, maybe we'll just chat for a while and we'll just kind of see where it goes. As it is, I mean, if we go short, that's fine. We just don't want to go long, because if we go long, there's people who tune in who are just going to drop, and they may not, see the whole thing. But
yeah,
one speaker, I'm sure we'll
have time.
Yeah. We'll have plenty of time.
All
right. So we got 4 minutes. About 2 minutes of, I'll turn your video off, and we'll sit for what will seem like a lifetime for those 2 minutes to pass before we go live.
Right. Right. And that's a funny thing, because one of the exercises we're going to do takes 2 minutes for the cortisol level to drop. So I'll be able to have a little practice ahead of time.
We're uncomfortable with silence.
Yeah.
Like whenever we give these instructions, it's like, okay, just be quiet just for a couple of seconds. And it's hard for people. It really is. It's hard, just like, it feels very uncomfortable for us.
Why is that?
I think that's a really good question. I think we have so much chatter in our minds, and I think we're bombarded with so much chatter and activity, and we've been trained that stimulation is good. That we get so used to it that being quiet for I don't currently meditate, but I know when I've tried, like people who say they meditate for an hour blow my mind, because if I can make it a minute, when I start, I'm lucky. All right. So we got 2 minutes. I'm going to turn your video off. No offense. And I'll introduce you when time comes.
And then I'm quiet until I hear my invitation.
Well, yep. And I'll introduce you. I'll ask you to start your video. So it'll look like this. We'll just
I start my video.
Yeah. So
okay.
Here's how it's going to look.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you're off, and then I'm going to ask you to start your video, and a little button should click, and then.
Excellent. Beautiful.
And then you can click in. All right. So I'm going to mute you, and we'll wait the remaining minute, and we'll see you on the inside. Hi, this is Don McGrath, co-founder of Speakers Pathway Coalition. We are the Stage Warriors. And welcome to our program, our daily program, Messages of Inspiration, Hope, and Support. And we created this because in these challenging times when many of us are in our homes, some of us are some states are reopening, some communities are reopening, but for the most part, we're still spending a lot of time in our homes. We wanted to bring people in a very easily digestible way, some real positive messages, some messages of inspiration, messages of hope, and messages of support to help people through these times. And so we've been running this. I think this is our episode number 30. Incredible. We've been running this for over a month now, and the response has been fantastic. The speakers have been fantastic. And this has just been a great experience for Speakers Pathway. We're honored to be behind it, to be the sponsors of it, to be involved in it, to have us be called to do this. And thank you for tuning in. So Speakers Pathway, just a little bit about Speakers Pathway before we bring on our first speaker. So people sometimes say, well, gosh, I'm not really a speaker. Well, do you go to networking events? Do you do live videos? Do you do interviews? Do you get on podcasts? Do you deliver courses? Do you do workshops? So if you do any of these things, then yes, you use the same techniques that speakers who are on a stage use, and they can be valuable to you in terms of monetizing your expertise. And that's what we do at Speakers Pathway. We help entrepreneurs to monetize their expertise, and we use the skills of public speaking to help people get clarity, create products, market their products, and monetize their expertise. All right, so I'm just so excited to bring on our first speaker. I'm going to welcome Sally DeCesar to the stage. And Sally is a complete wellness coach, and she's going to be talking to us today about how to be the calm in the storm. So Sally, welcome to the stage. Hi, Sally.
Hey, Don. Thank you.
Thank you so much for putting your hand up and being part of this project of getting these messages out there. And I really want to thank you. And I just can't wait to hear your talk.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
All right, Sally, the stage is all yours.
So I think we can all agree that these are uncertain times. Many of us are hearing conflicting information from people who are supposed to be guiding us, and that can have us feeling very stressed, very anxious, and overwhelmed. Renee Jain, spelled Jain, in her blog Stress Better, says the opposite of anxiety is trust. So when we're feeling anxious, who do we trust? Who do we trust so we can feel comfortable and peaceful within and let go of anxiety? And the only one that you can actually trust is yourself. So how do we connect with ourselves so that we can be the calm when it's all stormy all around us? And so today, I'm hoping to give you, well, I am going to offer them, and I'm hoping they're helpful, 4 tips or techniques, and 2 of them you can do just like that, and 2 take a little bit of prep. And I want to start with a story. And while I'm telling the story, if you don't have a paper and pen or writing utensil handy, I'd like you to go and get that while I'm telling you about our dog, Mondo. Now, Mondo was an adoptee. We got him when he was 2. He was the most gorgeous Doberman you've ever seen. He was black and shiny, 100 pounds of sheer strength. And he was so good looking. He knew he was too, because the way he stood like a king. And when we would go for our walks, people would stop and stare. But they stared not because he was so gorgeous. He was snapping, he was barking, he was drooling. He was acting crazy because he had never been taught that people can take care of him. He thought he had to control the whole world, and his little doggy brain could not handle it. And the vet said, put him down. He's dangerous. And we thought, no, I mean, I love animals. The thought of that was just too much. And so we tried lots of things and nothing worked. And after he bit me for the second time, we had to go with what the vet had suggested, and it broke our hearts. And if I would have known then what I know now, I would have looked to myself as to what I was doing that was bringing this into my life, this stressed anxiety, because on hindsight, I see that I was not much different than Mondo. I would come home from work and I would snap and bark orders. I was trying to control everything, and it was just too much. My husband took to calling me his witch, and I was far from enchanting. So that's when I really started searching for things and learned to trust what I knew and what I could take care of, and that was me. And so while gaining that trust in ourselves is a long process sometimes, or it's more than just a 15-minute process, I do hope that these tools will help you. So I hope you have your paper handy, because I want to start off by telling you about the power stances. And power stance that I'm going to ask you to do today with me right now is feet shoulder width apart, hands on your hip. Now, some people call this the Wonder Woman stance. That's what I choose, but you can call it Superman if you want. And Amy Cuddy, spelled her last name C-U-D-D-Y, has this amazing TED Talk that you can get some more information about this. And she did a lot of research. She's a social scientist, and she's done research on how we handle stress, how our bodies handle stress. And she found that if you were in a power stance for only 2 minutes, your cortisol levels will drop a lot. And cortisol is the stress hormone. So if we're just standing like Wonder Woman for 2 minutes, you can do that anywhere and access that confidence and that strength within, that you know you've got this. And she found that many powerful people do the same, have the habit of these same power stances. And it's very interesting because it also goes the other way. If you're not powerful and you do the power stances, it will help you feel powerful. So which one came first, the chicken or the egg, right? It doesn't matter. Same end result. You can feel confident in yourself. So I love that one for a quick go-to before a meeting. If you've got something coming up that you're really feeling kind of iffy about. Second thing I wanted to share with you is something by Donna Eden. Donna Eden is an energy medicine person, and she's taught us how to balance left and right brain in many of the things that she teaches. And this is another easy one. You know, you hear the story, don't cross your arms. Well, this is a little different kind of crossing. You're going to put one hand on your upper arm, other hand on your elbow, and then just rest down there. So it's not like you're blocking people with this. In fact, people perceive this to be more of an engagement, of a comforting stance to be observing. So this is a really good stance, balances your left and right brain. And just doing this for a few moments will help bring you some balance in your life. So when you're feeling spinning out of control because what's going on around you, you can't control, and so this you can. And I'm going to add to this something from Heart Math Institute. Heart Math teaches to live from your heart. And so they do a lot of focus on the heart. And that's what I'm just going to ask you to do. Play along with me. You can imagine it, you can call it pretend, whatever, but I just want you to just notice the beating of your heart right now with your arms crossed the way I've suggested. And just notice the beat of your heart. And then with your attention, bring your mind down to your heart. And notice how that feels. Now, this also can be done anytime when you've got a presentation and you're waiting to get up on stage, or you're waiting to talk to your boss. And I don't know if you noticed it, but it almost calms your mind when your mind can settle and be supported by your heart. I notice how powerful this is when I have that brain chatter that's telling me that this can't happen and this can't be the way we want it to be. I want to acknowledge that I'm hearing that. Otherwise, if I'm fighting it, it's like a child, right? You tell a child no, what are they going to do? So you have to say, oh yeah, I hear you. It's okay. We've got this. Because you do. You've got this. Love that one. That one is a go-to for me on a regular basis. And now I'm going to ask you to get your piece of paper. This is the one that's going to take a little bit of prep. All right? So if you have a project coming up or an engagement of some sort, a lot of moving parts, and you're trying to kind of organize it, this is going to help tremendously. So you take your piece of paper and you fold it vertically. And on one side, you're going to write mine. And the other side, you're going to write not mine. And many of you have done a similar experiment before or have used this. But I want you to write down all the things in the project that you can control. And then on the other side, what you really have no control over. And this reminds me of a client who I love. She's amazing. She's a working mom with a special needs kid. She has a lot on her plate. She has her calendar, his calendar. He's got the OT, the PT, the speech therapist, the vision therapist. And sometimes I get involved in that as well. And she has it down. And it all works really well until it doesn't. And that's when I got a call. Oh, Sally, I got this phone call from her. And we were going so well. Frances was moving along. Everything was doing really well. And then the OT changed schedules on us. And I can't make it fit in the schedule. So we had to get a new occupational therapist. And that worked out easily, except for the fact that Francis is not thriving under her. In fact, he's losing ground. And I just don't know what to do. What am I going to do? And so we took out a piece of paper and she wrote down the things that she could control. So she could control how she acted towards the occupational therapist. She could control, maybe she could talk to the occupational therapist and say, hey, by the way, this is what I found works for him. Have you ever heard of this before? You know, in a non-confrontational way. Or she could maybe use some of the things that the older occupational therapist had used with her son at home and try to keep him up with that. Okay? So those, and she wrote some more things. Then on the other side of the sheet, she wrote things she had no control over, like a new schedule, something working out, right? The occupational therapist taking continuing education credits and learning something new. Or maybe Frances would finally like this OT. Who knew, right? But she had no control over that. So she wrote it down. And then she tore the sheet in half and burned the part that wasn't hers, kept the part that was hers. In the burning process, you're giving it to whoever runs the show. And that can be God, that can be universe, it can be source. But we all know we're not running here on just inertia. There's some energy out there that keeps everything rolling. And so when you give that away, the opportunity for you to focus on what you can control, what you do, what you can, well, what you can do, right? It just notice when you know it's in writing and you can own it and it's yours and you can handle it. And then you can cross things off. That is so gratifying to many of us. Oh, got that done. Oh, got that done. It feels good. And it's important to feel good when you're feeling overwhelmed. Oh, by the way, I got a call about a week later, and the previous OT opened up some slots in the schedule that worked just perfectly for my client. And so whether she worried about it or not, it was better not to worry. And it all worked out. So that's something, yes, it takes a little bit of prep for. It doesn't take long, but you do have to think a little bit about it. The last tip I have for you are essential oils. And I know, don't worry about it. They are amazing. I'm not going to, everybody's like, oh yeah, I tried that. But if you've ever done the research through NIH, I mean, I'm not a researcher necessarily, but NIH, National Institutes of Health, they have done a ton of research on essential oils. And what they found is that there are some essential oils that are super good. So I'm going to tell you at the end how to make a blend for yourself that you have as your go-to in your pocket. But what is in it is bergamot, lavender, lemon, and ylang ylang. And what you're going to do with these is in a 5-ounce bottle, you are going to drop 3 drops each and then put it in the bottle. Fill it up with either olive oil or fractionated coconut oil. Put a couple drops on your hands, rub it in your temples along the back of your neck, and take a whiff. If you want to rub it on your feet, awesome job. Works really well. Who doesn't love a good foot massage? That's reflexology, another story there. But these are great, and NIH backs it up. They did a study that put bergamot up against diazepam or Valium. They had such confidence they actually decided to test it, and it did well. And lavender against Ativan, which is a sedative. I mean, they did super. Now, I'm not saying get off your drugs. I am not a medical doctor. I don't want to go there, but who couldn't use a little support, right? And not only do they help with that relaxation, bergamot and lavender, when together, will activate your frontal lobe where you can make rational thought. And that's what we need right now, to be rational. Make good decisions. So that's about it that I have for you. And I'm tickled pink that you could join us today. And I am just excited to hear if anything you want to share. I'd love to hear. I'll be following it on Facebook, because you deserve to have a blissful journey. You deserve to find that peace within you so that you can live the life that you really enjoy. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, Sally, for that. That was absolutely fantastic. And there's a few things occurred to me while you were speaking and really resonated with me. One is that, and this is something that one of our executive training directors, Bill Heinrich, says all the time. It's like part of his keynote talk, is your life is out of control and so is mine.
Yes, and like Mahatma Gandhi's famous thing, be the change you want to be. Mm-hmm. If it's up to me to make that change. So well put. I appreciate that feedback. And
there are so many things that are out of our control, and the only thing we can do about them is worry about them, right? I mean, and so I really loved your technique about writing down the things you do control and writing out the things that you don't control and releasing those that you don't control, because all you can do is worry about them, right? That's the only thing you can do with that, right?
And it's going to happen or not. And you can either choose to be all worried about it or let it go and not worry. It's still going to happen. And how do you feel better?
Yeah. Or you try to control things you have in control, and that leads to nothing but frustration, right?
Or my crazy dog.
Or your crazy dog. Yeah. And I really liked your writing it down. Mm-hmm. Writing it down is incredibly powerful. You may have heard of the studies, there's all kinds of studies done about the power of writing it down. And when you write down an intention, it brings it into the physical, and it like 100x increases the chance that it's actually going to happen.
Isn't that something? Wow.
And then I love your check it off, right? When you do something, check it off. That gives you a little shot of cortisol, like, yay, woo.
I've got this, right?
I got this, yeah. And I took a time management course once, and one of the things that they taught was the first thing you put on your list every day is organize your time. Like just sit down and organize your time. And that's like an easy check mark, right? It's like it requires hardly anything, but yay, I organize my time.
Right. If you ever listen to Simon Sinek, he always talks about how going for the apple gets all these hormones going that keep us moving forward. If you have a focus and a goal, like you said, checking that box, it's a piece of cake. It gives you a little hit and it raises your energy level and accomplishment. That's, I think, why we feel so like this, because there's nothing really we can accomplish. We're all kind of on pause.
Right.
I love your talk about the pivot. This is the time for us to be looking at our lives and deciding what's working and what's not. What can I let go of and what should I focus on?
Yeah, how do I take this energy that I have and put it in a way that moves me forward, and not like trying to accomplish something that just doesn't make any sense given where we are. Like, yeah, I could go out and try to book all kinds of physical stages right now, but good luck with that, right?
Right, you'd be spinning your wheels then. You'd be busy, but
you'd be busy.
At least now.
So if people want to reach out to you and find out more about what you do, you shared such valuable information, how would somebody get in touch with you?
Oh, thanks for asking. Visit yourblissfuljourney.com, and on there is some free tips. Sign in and you'll get some videos with some other simple ideas on balancing your energy. You can also reach out and email me at sally@yourblissfuljourney.com. Spelled just the way it is. The words are spelled correctly. No funny words.
All right. No hyphens or any kind of things like that. Yeah.
Straight out.
Well, Sally, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing what you did today. And again, it's our pleasure at Speakers Pathway to be doing these daily shows, providing this messages that are helpful. I'm sure there's someone out there who needed to hear what you hear. And we are actually taking all the videos from our speakers and we're posting them on speakerspathway.com. So you can go there and we're going to, in the end, have over 120 talks up there. And so people can go shop. They want to hear something about how to be calm. They can click on your video. If they want to hear about, how to handle your finances in a situation like this, there's talks on that. If they want to find out about any of the topics, they can actually go to speakerspathway.com and there's a place for them to click on messages of inspiration, hope, and support.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then you've got the Facebook as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, we're going live on Facebook, which is going to be around forever. We also are posting the individual videos and the composite videos on YouTube, on Speakers Pathway YouTube channel. And so we're just, people consume different things in different ways. And we're actually providing you'll actually see your talk that will get posted on Speakers Pathway Coalition Facebook page, and we'll tag you and we'll share it and just share. Let's get this stuff out there.
Let's get this stuff out there.
Just get it out there.
Because somebody's going to resonate with a different way. May I just add, since you mentioned, since we were talking about Facebook, create your blissful journey. You can visit me there as well.
All right, Sally. Well, thank you so very much. And thanks for all of you who tuned in today to listen to Sally's talk and to hear what's going on. So we'll be back on Monday. We're going to take a break on the weekend and we'll be right back with vim, vigor, and vitality on Monday. Jim Grant will be back. Right now, he's doing Your Future Is Now, which is he and my radio show on the TogiNet Internet Radio Network. He's doing that right now. And but he'll be back on Monday, and have a great weekend.